So Max Kellerman does a interview with Fight Hype, and they asked him about the Errol Spence and the Mikey Garcia fight and what he thinks. And he said he no doubtedly favors Spence, but he's saying at the same time, you know, that basically people are sleeping on Mikey, and Mikey can beat Errol Spence, and he has the most experience and he has the better skill set. And this is a discussion a lot actually at my gym. And me personally, I'm pulling for Mikey to win simply because I always like pulling for underdogs. You know, of course I'm favoring Spence to win, but I still think that there's a chance that Mikey can show something and reveal something about Errol Spence that has yet to been seen. We have to keep in mind that Errol Spence has not really been put to the test. You know, he hasn't been in there with the right bodies yet for me to really put him up there where everybody wants to put him up there. Yes, I see a lot of promise in him, just like I see a lot of promise in a lot of boxers a lot of times. But most of the times you don't know what you're looking at until, you know, basically you're fighting somebody that's on your level or near to it. And even though Mikey is considered outmatched in this, I still think Mikey brings something to the fight that Errol Spence hasn't got yet, you know, and I want to see how he reacts to it, and I'm curious. And just like Max Kellerman said, it's not a fight that we asked for, but it's also not a fight that we're necessarily mad about. So, you know, it's not nothing, you know, shocking if Errol Spence wins. And this is kind of my thing with the whole Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia thing. Mikey, it won't be shocking if Errol Spence wins. He's favored to win. But what if Mikey goes in there and holds his own? Would that reveal anything about Spence? Would he be considered less of a fighter since this was supposed to be a mismatch from jump? Would he be considered less of a fighter? Or, you know, will people go easy on him? Me personally, I think if he don't absolutely blitz Mikey Garcia, there's going to be a question mark there. You know, if he struggles or if he doesn't put on the performance that people think he's supposed to have, because in most people's eyes, especially when it was first announced and was first put on people's mind, they said, oh man, that's a slaughter, that's a blowout, there's no way in the world. But what if Mikey Garcia actually goes in there and handles his business and holds his own? What kind of reflection will that be on Errol Spence now that he's got this mystique around him of being a boogeyman and such a hard puncher and the most avoided fighter and whatnot? You know, I don't see him sustaining that kind of reputation if he don't go in here and absolutely manhandles Mikey Garcia. And this is the thing, I don't think necessarily Mikey Garcia wins, but I also don't see him manhandling Mikey Garcia either. You know, I think a lot of people are writing Mikey Garcia off, but you got to understand, in this game, confidence plays a big key, and he has a weird confidence about himself, and it makes it even more eerie and probably a little bit unsettling for Errol Spence, because he doesn't know where it comes from. Like, why would this guy think that he can beat me? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? You know what I'm saying? What is it that he's seeing me that he's so confident about that he would, you know what I'm saying, that he would jump up and wait and think that he can take on me when everybody's avoiding me? So he claims. Or maybe he just looks at Errol Spence for what it really is. You know, biggest names on his resume before Kell Brook, his claim to fame was Chris Algieri. So maybe he's looking at it like some Errol Spence skeptics look at it. You know, like he hasn't really done anything yet for us to give him, you know, the props that he's getting out here. But I think definitely people are underestimating Mikey Garcia. And one thing about being underestimated, it's easy to impress once you do good. And Mikey Garcia doesn't do one thing exceptionally well. Like I said, Mikey Garcia to me is the king of the basics, you know? And a lot of people saying, I don't know how you think that he could handle Errol Spence when he didn't even knock out Adrian Broner. What? And, you know, I get those arguments. I get it. But yet and still, I'm always a person that's cheering for the underdog. And Mikey Garcia is definitely the underdog in this fight, even though I favor Errol Spence to win, just like Max Kellerman. But he does have the experience, and he's more well-rounded, I think. And it's no doubt he has a hill to climb. But what if while climbing that hill, he does it in acceptable fashion? And even crazier than that, what if he wins? I mean, that would change the total climate, you know, of the situation. It would totally change. What would that do for Mikey Garcia if he was to beat Errol Spence? And what would that do to Errol Spence's career if he was to lose to Mikey? Where do you see those two ships going? You know, would that would put Mikey, I mean, there's no way he doesn't begin to reach superstar status after that, because that would be the wind heard around the world. You know, that the little man came up and battled the supposedly one of the most avoided dangerous fighters in the boxing game right now. And to tell you the truth, I think it'll be more interesting for boxing if Mikey does upset the world like that. I don't know, but, you know, I am interested. You know, I wasn't at first, but I am now. And I don't know. I would just like to see where things go and what would be said. So what do you think if Mikey Garcia was actually to beat Errol Spence? Or what if he just give him a hell of a fight? Because like I said, if he don't go in here and absolutely handles him like people are expecting him to do, could that be considered a loss on his end anyway? Even with the win? I don't know. You let me know. Bruce Vane, I'm out.